The major scale with an F sharp would be the G major scale. So that's how we do it. It's always based, the way we write it in Western music, it's always based on the major scale. So that's the scale that we base ourselves on, especially for tonal music of the period. Here we're in the period.
So what determines major and minor?
The minor is a different type of scale. Like there are many other scales. Well, you know, I mean, if you were to compare it to ragas or whatever, you have so many scales, so many possible. What makes a major scale is the relation between the notes of its scale. So it's a scale of 7 notes. Not all scales have 7. Some have 5, and they're called pentatonic. A lot of Chinese music would be written with 5. There's in Indian ragas, I think it's Malkhons is a 5-note scale raga. So what you have is a relation of the degrees between 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, and back to 1. So if you can see, actually here I need to make it better. So again, I'm putting a hat on all of them just to make it very clear that I'm talking about scale degrees. Okay, and so this is a scale. Whatever you choose as being 1. What you have here is a whole tone. What you have here is another whole tone, which means there's a half note in. There's a note in between there. Now here we don't have 1, and then we have 1 again. Then we have 1 again, and then we have 1 again, and then here again we have a half tone. Now this sequence of notes from whatever pitch you started, you will get what we define as a major scale.
Yeah.
It's also in the Greek modes, it's called the Ionian scale. Okay? That's as far as it's a mode, Ionian mode, but here it's more as a scale. Now when you start your scale, so you can start with you can start now from 2 and have the same. So when, for example, if now this is 1, so this is 1 and this is 2, and then between 2 and 3 is the half step, that will create a very different type of scale. When you start it on 6, and then you go 1, 2, then 2 and 3 is where the half step is, okay? And then you go on, so then this is 3, okay? Then, so here it's 3, I put it under, okay? 3, then 4, 5, the next half step would be where? Between 5 and 6, no? We are keeping the same sequence of notes. I'm writing them near on purpose. 5, 6, 7, and 1. So you notice when I start then this way, and it finishes here, okay? So this is actually our minor scale. So now think of it again, Chandresh, when you were saying, I know this is G major, and for most people this is very easy, or F sharp. Oh, it's, you know, it's the first scale you learn an instrument in that has a sharp. It's the first one, right? So G major. Now think of it, G major, go up the scale from G, 6 notes, right? If this is G, so G, E, F, A, B, C, D, E, no? I mean, sorry. What did I say? Why did anyone correct me here? So G, A, B, C, D, E. Start there. So it is the E minor, okay? And so here it is. We write like that, and we write 2 dots for those who like to analyze further the chords.
It's what we call the minor relative scale.
Yeah, it's relative because it is using the same type of intervals. You see, it's relative to that one. So I could start from here and have another scale. It will be the relative whatever of the major scale. So they are related. It's like I call it brother and sister. The C major is the G major is the brother, and the sister is E minor, and they have the same notes of the scale. So here it is. If I start from here, you see, now I give that as an ending. So you see, it's you have to create that as an ending again. Remember the 3 note scale pieces that we do, how to create an ending on a note. You have to create that feel, otherwise you will not get it, that ending on the sixth. So then you get the minor.
Pushkar,
Yeah.
do you have a
Short
taille
like-
crayon?
Un crayon ou un
Taille crayon.
un taille crayon, voilà. Yeah.
Super.
So was that clear? I mean, you know, don't make it. I can make it very interesting for even very advanced students. You have it clear, because I'm saying
No,
I'm
no.
always saying extra things that might not be.
No. So
You understand?
So G, I understood the G major. So what? which
So if
G
this is
minor?
G
So
major,
lower-
this is G,
Yeah.
and then this is A.
No, that I got. But
Yeah.
then what is the lower one? Why?
Oh no, I started the scale here, so I could have gone up, right?
Okay.
But the notes
That's
were
fine,
already
that's
here.
No,
So
why-
basically, this becomes the third degree of that scale.
Okay.
Yeah. So then, if G is the third degree, then it will be. So basically, that's how. That's where the scale would start, right? So 1 would be on the. So basically, this is the relative minor. It starts. It's like starting on the major scale, but you're starting on the 6th degree of the major scale. Whenever you start on the 6th degree of the major scale,
That is the minor.
you have the relative
corresponding-
minor.
Okay.
Now that 6th degree becomes the tonic. It becomes the 1. So you create a scale. Like, look, there are all these white keys here, right?
So each major scale has a corresponding 6th degree minor scale. Is that what? it is?
Yes, exactly. But it has many corresponding. Look, these are white keys here. I can start my 1 on whatever of these white keys.
Yeah.
Please come in. Yeah. Yes. Hello. You are Claire. Oh, okay. I was wondering if you got my message and I didn't get an answer. Okay. Please come in. We have already started, but we are just in the beginning. I think you can catch up with what I am Pushkar. Very nice meeting you. Please join us. So here she is, Claire. Hi, this is everybody, and little by little. Please, you can have that seat. Nobody else is coming there.
Okay, thank you.
And so when we're talking about the major scale and the relative minor, and so maybe you have a little bit of idea, but I will repeat it in a different way now. Here you have all these white keys. Imagine that there are no black keys on your instrument. Imagine that you have your instrument and you're just playing just the normal scales without. You can have 7 of them, right? Depending on which note you start on. So I could start on this note. And that's a type of scale. It's actually called the Dorian in the Greek notes. Now I could start on this one. And that gives a different feeling because the half step is in a different position. The steps are different. So that is a, Phrygian. So you have different. So you have 7 possibilities without using the black keys.
Right.
Now, out of those 7 possibilities, the ones that are very much used in the classical era and in the Baroque era and the Romantic, mainly because some others are also used. There's a Phrygian, there's a Dorian used by Bach too, but it's not the scale in the whole piece. It's used in the middle sections. So the main scales that are used are the major scale and the relative, which is the one starting on the 6th degree of the major. So you knew that sharp was a G major or Sol major, and then the relative minor would be the Mi major or E minor, E minor, Mi minor. Okay? And so when I put that, this is a way of analyzing it chord-wise for those who are a little more advanced. They would do this, E, and it's in small, so it's E minor, and okay, and put a 1 here, or in with the Mi, the solmization, the same, okay? So that would remain the same for everyone, 1 in minor.